the National Stonewall Democrats reception just before the awards gala. And I want to ask you, how long have you been involved in the Stonewall Democrats?
I've been involved in Stonewall Democrats less than a year, so this is a great honor for me to be involved in the whole convention.
And do you identify as a member of the LGBT community?
Absolutely! I am the only out lesbian in the Colorado delegation.
Well, truth be told, I was born and bred in Denver, went to Park Hill, Gove, and East High, so I'm happy to be back.
And how did you end up working with the task force?
Well, in fact, when I came out at East High School when I was 16 years old in the 80s, I read about the National Gay and Lesbian Task Force. That time I think they might have been the National Gay Task Force in a newspaper, in a gay newspaper. And they just resonated me with their values, and I've been following them ever since. And now it turns out I'm the executive director.
Speaking of the values of the task force was one of over 300 LGBT organizations that signed on for a united ENDA, Employment Non-Discrimination Act. Can you tell me, in your perception, where are we with that, with the potential of a new administration?
Oh, I think we're in good shape. As you just mentioned, we had hundreds of organizations that are interested in a comprehensive, inclusive ENDA that covers all members of our community. The National Gay and Lesbian Task Force is not going to leave anyone behind, and neither are our partners, including Stonewall Dems.
Betsy Markey, how did you become invited to the National Stonewall Democrat Convention?
Well, I'm friendly with Jeffrey Shaw, and he invited my campaign manager and also my field director to come and be introduced to some folks down here, and so it's great to get the invitation. Yeah.
And in your comments, you mentioned that running against Marilyn Musgrave, you feel that CD4 is really ready to rid themselves of the politics of hate and division.
Yes, absolutely. And I see this as I go door to door, knocking on doors with people, particularly unaffiliated voters, many of whom haven't heard of me, but then they say, oh my gosh, you're running against Marilyn Musgrave, anybody but Marilyn Musgrave. So I really feel as if people have finally figured out that she doesn't represent their interests, doesn't represent their values, and has been ineffective as their representative in Congress, and they're ready for a change.
I heard earlier in the week that Stonewall Democrats have never had their national convention in the same city as the Democratic National Convention. How did that happen?
Well, we planned early, and we had a fantastic crew here that was working as soon as we heard information about the convention to make sure that Stonewall Democrats had a real place in the Mile High City. We are really excited to be working closely with our endorsed candidate, Senator Barack Obama, and now his running mate, Senator Joe Biden. So we were able to work with the campaign to make sure that we had fantastic surrogates. And whether it's Governor Sebelius tonight, candidate for Congress Jared Polis, noted author and pundit Keith Boykin, or Governor Deval Patrick, a true champion of our community tomorrow morning, I think it really speaks to the quality and influence that LGBT Democrats have in the Democratic Party and in politics in America.
Your comments tonight were so wonderful, and you ended your comments talking about that this isn't just an introduction to the convention, but that was a nice party, but that it required us to take action. That's right. And I'm wondering if you could maybe help motivate our viewers to get out and take that action if they weren't here.
Well, we're 72 days away from the election on November 4th, and I just think it's so important that people understand there's a huge choice to make this November between change that we desperately need in America, changing the policies of the Bush administration, or staying with the recycled failed policies for 4 more years.
How did it feel to have your name bandied about as a potential vice presidential candidate?
Well, it's very exciting to have Kansas mentioned in a very positive light, and I think the talk about a vice presidential nomination is about the work we've been able to do in Kansas, and that's very positive. I'm thrilled to support this ticket. It's a great ticket. I'm going to work as hard as I possibly can to make sure Barack Obama and Joe Biden become the next president and vice president of the United States, and I'm delighted to be a part of it.